Power weapons are located on every single map and are incredibly important. That is essentially what you and your team are fighting for in Gears of War, are control of the power weapons and control of the positions around the power weapons. Even if you're not the one getting the power weapon, it's important that your team does, because it gives you a significant damage boost in terms of actually killing and slaying the other team. The long shot is the sniper rifle in Gears of War, probably one of the most high skill weapons in the game. You have to be very precise with this weapon.
I'm going to start with one of the biggest mistakes that I see in people using the long shot for the first time, or maybe just a little bit too new to it. It's when they scope in too much. You're very limited in your range of motion when you're using the scope on the long shot. I tend to hold the left trigger to get my shot lined up more often than I actually use the scope to scope in and finish my enemies.
So one of the most effective ways to use the sniper is actually to support your teammates. Let's say your teammate's getting suppressed by an opponent that's lancering them down from afar. You can use a sniper to keep that opponent's head down or to take their head off, depending on what they're doing. Another great way to use the long shot is to actually hold a power weapon from a very long distance. You can either pick off an easy kill on an enemy picking up a power weapon, or you can hold off an area single-handedly by yourself by using the sniper.
Nice!
So when someone's roadie running, their head is actually like right in the center of their body. So with practice, you can actually do a lead shot, which is where you just kind of aim your reticule where they're going to be, and then just firing right when their head goes across the reticle.
So the torque bow is one of the most unique weapons in Gears of War. It's actually a locust weapon, and really what it is a crossbow that fires grenades.
So the torque bow can be used in two ways. It's a pretty simple weapon. At first you have to hold down the right trigger to charge it, and then you just let it go. It can stick to people, it can stick to walls. You can even use it at kind of a half rev to bounce off walls and kill opponents.
So obviously the most effective way to use the torque bow is to actually hit the opponent, pierce their skin, and get an instant kill. But what a lot of people don't realize is you can use the torque bow positionally as well. What's really great to do with the torque bow is if you fully charge it, and you can hit the ground next to an opponent, which is going to then get them either full red or very weak, or kill the opponent and give your team a good opportunity to push up. So fun fact about the torque bow, in Gears of War Ultimate Edition, if you have an active reload with the torque bow, and if you bounce it off of a wall, you can actually stick an opponent by bouncing trick shots off of walls as well. This is very hard to do, but if you can do it, more power to you.
The boom shot is the most powerful weapon in Gears of War Ultimate Edition. Essentially, you get two rockets to blow away your enemies. You just have to use them very resourcefully. You have to make sure not to waste them. One wasted boom shot is one wasted kill in my mind. So it's very important to aim right below their feet or get a direct shot from possible multi-kills.
So it's important to note the boom shot, if you do not hit them directly but instead use the splash damage to hit them, you're going to put them in a DBNO state, or they're going to go down instead of instantly killing them. However, if you hit the player directly with the boom shot, instant kill, and one of the most gratifying kills in Gears of War.
Yeah, so in many other Gears of War, if not all of them, you have 3 shots in your boom shot. This has kind of created a tendency to waste boom shot shells. In this game, again, you only have 2 shots, you got to make them count. It's important to use it from medium to close range without blowing yourself up.
So the boom shot is one of the only weapons in Gears of War that has a slower trajectory while it's shot. So you don't want to aim directly at opponents. Sometimes the further distance you are, you want to aim in front of them or where they're going to be. So the frag grenades are also power weapons on spawn on the map. Sometimes they spawn close to your spawn, but sometimes they spawn in the very center of the map as well.
So in Gears of War Ultimate Edition, the grenade model has actually been tuned quite a bit. In Gears of War 1, the original, you couldn't get them to go as far as you wish. We actually had Gears of War 3 style of grenade throwing imported into the game, which now allows you to be able to actually left trigger your grenade and throw it a lot farther than you previously could.
So similar to the boom shot, with the frag grenades, you want to essentially throw them where the opponent is going to be, not directly at them. Otherwise, it'll be very easy for the opponent to evade. So the Hammer of Dawn is a weapon taken from Campaign, where it actually will use satellites to fire a giant laser beam from the sky that can really lock down an area. One of the most common mistakes with using the Hammer of Dawn is when players always keep it out. So as an opponent is closing the gap on you or getting close to you, you don't want to launch the Hammer of Dawn right in front of yourself, otherwise it's going to result in most likely either a suicide or you getting killed.
So just like the Torpo Rev, one thing that's pretty cool about the Hammer of Dawn is there's a near global sound for when someone's about to drop the hammer. You can hear a couple beeps and then you can hear the beam actually coming to a full point before it drops. If you hear that beep, you might want to run if your teammates don't have it.
So one great thing about your team controlling the Hammer of Dawn, everyone on the map knows that you have the Hammer of Dawn. So you can really use that to your advantage to really psych out the other team and let them know, hey, we have a weapon that can destroy all 4 of you at once.
So when using the Hammer of Dawn, a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll try to aim it right on the enemy's body. What's really important to do is actually aim at walls, aim at the ground near them so that it actually drops. If you're trying to use it on a moving enemy, it can often disrupt your line of sight and it can make it really difficult to drop the hammer.